back to the Healing and Wisdom channel. I'm Dr. Crystal Nix, chiropractor and certified acupuncturist, and this is the second video to the Desire series. To be honest, I had actually wondered, because of the whole, the pandemic thing, that I was like, well, is this even really the type of topic that we need to talk about? And what was interesting is that as I reflected on that, I had this resounding yes, that this message is needed at this time, especially because we're in this survival mode and just full of, at times, different concerns. And so we can end up trying to settle for the lie that we have to settle and that we have to just live in survival mode. But that's a lie. There is a truth that we can live from our desires and live in a way that really feels like we're thriving. Back about 7 years ago, I went through a time that felt kind of similar to this, where I like to call it this broken time in my life, just because one, I was broke financially to the point that I was actually, I don't know why toilet paper is a thing, but I would take some extra long sheets of toilet paper from the university I was at and just stuff it in my backpack and bring that home so I didn't have to pay for extra toilet paper at the house. And then I had just broken up with a very important relationship in my life, and so totally brokenhearted, and even just kind of a broken, fragmented idea of what my future would hold. And so from that place, I had kind of just been reflecting and really working on just hoping for a better life. And in those reflections, I had a moment, and in this meditative dream that I had, it was where I basically saw myself kind of like driving through a drive-through, placing my order and getting back on the intercom that, no, you can't pick up your order from the window, you have to come in and get it. So I was extra frustrated because I'm trying to do things fast and get to the next, activity, and park the car, slam the door, and march my way into the fast food restaurant, and just floored and stunned, because instead of it being one of those kind of slimy, smelly entrances, I find that it's just decadent, and it's still, and there's candle lights that are bringing this warm glow to the room as opposed to the bright fluorescent lights, and there's this gourmet banquet that is before me, and with golden dishware, and I got this understanding that I had been settling, and that I had been trying to go too fast and just go and live in this survival mode, and felt that this was the image of the universal intelligence's abundance. I tend to call that intelligence God. You might call it just light or hope or purpose. And all of those are good titles. And the idea that I felt was that we don't have to settle, that we really do have, even in our broken times, even in times when we don't know what the future holds, we do have a reason to live from our desires and live in a way that allows for us to thrive and help make an impact on those around us. So with that vision, it actually helped me to identify the ways that we can develop our desires. And that's one, from looking at areas of scarcity, and then two, looking at where we have abundance within already. So starting with that scarcity idea, if we can identify places that we see where there is scarcity around us, or maybe it's global, but maybe it might just be in our own home or in our own lives, that might be a sense of loneliness. And that might be where we recognize, okay, my desire comes from the fact that I have this loneliness here. I'm lacking, I have a scarcity of intimacy. And so being able to see that as an example, or even if it's seeing scarcity of other solutions that are needed for those who are like crippled or who are in need, or children that are being abused in some way, but just being able to identify those areas of scarcity that speak to you. Then from there, being able to look at what do you have abundance of already. You might feel like, I don't know what I have an abundance of. This is such a big thing. It's global warming and I'm just a clerk or something like that. But what you might have an abundance of is passion. It might be an abundance of hope. It might be an abundance of voice and or friends to share the cause that you're trying to help move out of that scarce state. So that could be part of your pools of abundance. And I'm sure that if you don't have skills, you also have abundance of potential to develop skills, either in education or in actual tools that you might need to either create a solution for people like paraplegics, or partnering with other people who have skills, but you have more of the passion and the vision. So that is a really wonderful way and model of being able to create your desire. And it might be small to start out. I mean, that example of maybe just trying to find your soulmate, that might seem like it's a small, like not a huge earth-shattering desire, but it is needed. That desire that you have is needed because that there is another person who seeks that, and the synergy that you two can share together can make such a difference in the world. And if not for, the whole globe, at least in your sphere of influence. So fostering that desire and recognizing where that scarcity is, and then recognizing where you have abundance already, is a place where you can move into that desire and fulfill it. So there are so many different examples out there of people who have huge desires and have made them come to life. One we all know of is Disney. So Disney, he started out with a rather smaller desire. I mean, he just really had a passion for drawing, and he desired to develop that. And you know what? He met a closed door. He was at a printing company, and they thought that he had no talent, and they fired him. And so he could have said, no, my desire is worthless. It's not worth pursuing. I don't have the talent, so I should give up on my desire. But what I appreciate is that he recognized that it was a closed door, but that doesn't mean that you stop that. He knew that's not my path, that's not my avenue. And he created one for himself. He created a way to bring his drawings to life, and he developed a new desire to bring magic to life, to animate his drawings in a way that we have all come to love. And then from that desire, seeing it on the big screen and seeing the magic that he was able to produce, and that his desires were bringing such joy to other people, he developed a new desire of creating that magical experience for us to actually interact with, by creating these magical worlds for us to go to in Disney World, Disneyland, and really immerse ourselves in that imaginative and creative place. So we can see, and he did still meet closed doors even in those times when he was working on films and when he was working on developing these theme parks. So we can know for ourselves that we will meet closed doors as we develop our desires. And to see them with an embrace is actually the healthiest way to go about it. So, for example, if you just ended up with every person that you liked throughout your life, I guess the first person that you ended up liking in your life, like in kindergarten, then that might not have been as developed of a relationship had you gone through a few heartbreaks and shifted your preferences. I know for myself that I'm grateful for some of those closed doors of the past to be able to be in the relationship that I'm in. And so the same sort of thing applies in our desires with, if it is for a soulmate, if it is for global peace, or if it's for helping people like we were talking about with paraplegics, or whatever your cause or whatever that desire that suits you, it is going to have closed doors. And those doors are as much of a blessing as an open door. So as you begin to see that, you'll be able to see that your desire, it can still be fueled, it can still be achieved, and it's still needed. But those closed doors help you to have that specific path that you need to take, that we need from you. So embrace those closed doors. I've learned to be thankful, and actually there is a heartbreak that is there, and that it's important to recognize that and to say, like, yeah, I'm sad, I'm disappointed, I might even go through a season of depression and doubt, but don't let that paralyze you and kill that desire, because there is a difference between a closed door and resistance than actually being able to fulfill what it is that you're hoping to, and having that path that's specific to you. There might even be times where it seems like you do a total shift in your desire, that you first started out on one thing and you totally shift to another, and that's just fine, because you're living out of desire and you're not settling for a life of survival. And just by doing that alone, it will start increasing this muscle in you of resilience and capacity and abundance, and knowing that that abundance is something that is attainable. So I wanted to share this with you at this season because we need you. You might have a desire in you to create the cure for this, or you might just have a desire to create joy and create gathering opportunities online, just like I've got through this YouTube channel at this time. Whatever your desire is, I ask that you foster it, that you identify that area of scarcity that is really calling you, that you feel that hollowness for, and that you feel that that need to fill it and see it not so lacking, but more and more full, and identify what you have already in abundance within you. Again, if that's passion or love, or even your current capabilities, foster that and see it, identify it, and then link up with others who can also foster that with you. There will be more to this desire series. Right now, just focus on developing your desire and embracing it. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you next time.